Bring in our defence and security analyst, Michael Clark, now. Michael, let's start where the fighting is building up on the ground. The Donbass region, we talk about that regularly, but in particular Mykolaiv as well. Talk to us about what's going on today.
Yes, the Russians are building up some momentum at Mykolaiv. They've gone towards the coast. It looks as if they intend to initiate a second battle of Mykolaiv sometime in the next few weeks, maybe approaching from the south. The Ukrainians are building up their forces too. It hasn't really started yet, but when it is, we will notice. I mean, meanwhile, the Donbass, of course, is the centre. And the Russians last week had 2 or 3 areas of advance. Those have more or less stopped, to be honest. And they're putting all of their effort into Severodonetsk. And that's the city that is the key to Luhansk, which is the smaller of the 2 oblasts within the whole Donbass region. Severodonetsk is surrounded on 3 sides. And the key to understanding Severodonetsk, if we look at it a bit more closely, it's the river, the Seversky Donetsk River, which runs right down to the west of the city. And by and large, that's a difficult river to get across. Now, the Russians have actually crossed it in some areas, and they've been pushing some of the Ukrainian forces south to Komishivaka, and some Ukrainian forces have retreated to Komishivaka, but others are going further north. The Ukrainians are pushing some heavy armour up from there as well in order to try to hold the line. But the real key is the bridges over the river. There are 4 bridges. One of them has been down for years. Of the other 3, the northern and southern bridges are really covered by the Russians. The Ukrainians can't really use it. The bridge that they can use is at Pavlograd, and the bridge at Pavlograd a few days ago was actually destroyed by the Russians. It's one of the very few sensible things they really have done in this case. And by destroying that bridge at Pavlograd, they've actually made life very hard for the Ukrainians. Hard now to supply Severodonetsk from the west, and the Ukrainians may have to decide, do they, as it were, dig in at Severodonetsk and just try to hold on and risk it becoming another Mariupol? Or do they give up the city now and leave while they can? Because with all the bridges down or unusable, they'll have to leave quite a lot of their equipment behind and just move out themselves. That's a tough call for any commander to make. And then one other point of interest, I think, in this whole Severodonetsk battle is the fate of the Terminator 2, this new, armoured fighting vehicle, which the Russians got very excited about a few weeks ago. In military terms, it's a camel, I always say. It's a tank chassis with loads of guns loaded on top. They've only got about 10 of them. The British Ministry of Defence confirmed they've got one troop, really, and they've gone to Severodonetsk. And so all the military train spotters out there are really interested to see, first of all, is it vulnerable? And secondly, will it make a difference as and when the Battle of Severodonetsk